Good evening and welcome. You're listening to Modern Mystic Radio. I'm your host, Sarah, and we are on A1R Psychic Radio Network, the world's #1 psychic radio network, and also Moonstruck TV as well. Right, so I'm just going to recap briefly over what I do, who I am, just in case this is the first time you're listening or watching me. And then I'm going to go into my topic, and I'm also going to be taking 2 callers as well. Right, so I'm just going to talk about myself very, very quickly. So I work as a psychic. I'm a natural psychic. I've been psychic since childhood, but I've also been working spiritually and psychically, professionally, for the past 27 years, so pretty much all of my adult life I've been working as a psychic. Now, I have taken breaks and done jobs and things like that in between, but predominantly it's always been there and a big part of my life as well. So not only am I a natural psychic, but I also work on UK TV, a psychic channel there. And have my own private practice where I can see people for one-to-one readings, healing and spiritual development courses as well, based in, obviously, the UK here. So I work in a variety of different ways. I work with a variety of different cards that I have, and I'll chop and change, and you'll see me chop and change here. Also like to work with crystals, so I'll work with a crystal ball or an obsidian mirror, or it may be even the crystal rune stones as well. I like using rune stones. That really comes from my Scandinavian roots as well. Also work with geomancy, which is a very ancient form of divination, and I absolutely love it. I find it very, very unusual. It dates back to medieval times. It's absolutely fascinating, and I find it really, really effective and also incredibly accurate. I've tested it out in my own life and absolutely love it. And I also like to work with my Akashic crystal as well. So this allows me to tune into your soul pathway, looking at your soul lessons and maybe your soul challenges for this lifetime. I like to go into the past life area and also your future outcomes as well. So within a reading, what I will do, and if I just explain how a reading works, so it's not just a simple case of I dish out some cards and I tell you what they kind of mean. That's not how I work. And it's probably not how most psychics work, actually. What I do have is I work with my spiritual guides, and they kind of give me the information that's around you, what you need to know during that reading. So I use my cards or whatever tool it is that I'm using to simply focus in on, and it will be the guidance that I'm getting from my spiritual helpers that I'll actually be passing over to you. So while I'm doing a reading, what I will do is I'll be asking lots and lots of questions on your behalf. So as a reader, I literally place myself in your shoes, as it were. So I will be looking at what you would like to know. So I'll be asking my guides all behind the scenes. You won't see me doing this. So in my mind, I'll be asking my guides lots and lots of questions here. So if it's perhaps, a love area, what I'll be asking about is, I'll be finding out as much as I possibly can, there for you, so I can give that to you. And quite often at the end of a reading, when I come to ask the question, is there anything else you would like to ask? The majority of people say, well, actually, no, you answered it all. And that's because I've sort of stepped into your shoes and tried to find out as much as possible that's going to enable you to move forward on your pathway, because ultimately the main aim of a reading is to guide you onto your best possible outcome, looking at those things that are blocking you, or you're finding challenging, or have not come in yet, and providing you with the options available to you, the options and the possibilities that are available to you, not only now but also coming into the future. So it enables you to have a more informed choice, and it also gives you the courage, if you like, to make those maybe bigger and braver decisions, because actually through your reading you found out if you do take that step, actually it may work out really, really well. So that's briefly how I work. Now you can get hold of me directly through my website, which is www.modern-mystic.co.uk, or you can catch me on Facebook as well. I think there are links here on the A1R Psychic Radio Network website as well. So if you want to get through to me, please do. I can do readings via Skype. I don't necessarily need to be sat in front of you. I can work remotely quite easily. Right, okay, so my topic for today is talking about energy and how it can block us. So being a psychic or an intuitive, whatever you are, whether you're a psychic, an intuitive, a healer, a light worker, maybe somebody that is just highly sensitive, all of those terms that I've just given you, tend to experience energy in a slightly different way than other people, your average Joe down the street. So what I want to talk about here is, how we manage that energy. So being highly sensitive, myself, I'm a natural psychic, so I pick up energy all over the place. And, I need to be very aware of my own energy and how that's being affected. Now, it's only natural as an intuitive person to be picking up all of that energy. And we do that, how can I put it? There's no way of stopping ourselves from doing. It's kind of how we're built. So it's about learning how to manage that effectively so it doesn't drag us down and start blocking our energy. So what I want to talk about today are energy blocks. What can actually hinder and hold us back here? Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about really is your direct environment. So maybe, looking at the energy of your home, that where we spend most of our time, our sleeping time as well, is the energy of your home, maybe the structure, the building, maybe even the neighbours causing an effect on your energy, or maybe even the people living within that home. This is something that I found to be quite challenging. So if I'm in the wrong environment where I'm living, then, if I can't move, which is, a lot of people can't just change, their environment, then I need to look at how can I actually harmonise that environment so it's more beneficial to myself, but also cleansing myself as well. Another thing that can hold us back are the people that are around us as well. So if you are a natural, sensitive or intuitive, then what you'll find is that you pick up on other people's energies as well. Now, it can become a little bit more challenging because when we're sensitive, if somebody is perhaps directing negative energy towards us, maybe they are jealous or, they have some sort of personality flaw like that. That's something that we can find actually really, really holds us back. And it's particularly prevalent, I would say, in sort of work situations, but also in family, because, again, we can't pick and choose our family members. So it's about holding ourselves back from those types of people, not allowing ourselves to get sucked in. Now, if you are encountering somebody that's being quite negative towards you, maybe you can't really put your finger on it, but there's just something about them that you feel they're trying to restrict you in some way, whether that's work or whether that's, on a personal level here, maybe even relationships. Relationships can hold you back. It's very important here to detach yourself from that and almost like reverse the energy. Some people will be very in your face with it and it'll be quite obvious they've got a problem with you, and other people will work more covertly, and maybe not, actually consciously be aware that that is what they're doing. And also, we have running in the background, you know, in our lives on a day-to-day basis, we have our subconscious program, and that is constantly running, constantly manifesting in our life. And that is the area, if you've got a block there, that is going to affect your ability to manifest what you desire. And this is where we have to go in quite deep. And this is what I love doing within a psychic reading, is looking at those blockages, whether they're subconscious, and trying to find a route or a way around that particular block. And I have to say, I do find my guides are very, very good at kind of directing me. So what will happen when I'm looking at a subconscious block, you know, one that's a little bit trickier to kind of master, it's like being on a roulette wheel for me. And it's like I'm given all these different options. And quite often this will happen if somebody's got to make a big decision. I'll be shown the options and I travel down that pathway briefly, only just for, you know, a couple of seconds, and to see whether that pathway is free or whether it's blocked. And that's how I can kind of tell which pathway is better for you. So that's what my guides tend to do with me, is they'll actually allow me to go down different options there for you on your behalf to see what it's like. Right, so I will go a little bit more into managing your energy in a moment. But before I do that, we have our first caller. Now, this is Liz from New York. Hi, Liz, are you there?
Yes, hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Right, okay, so do you have a question that you would like to ask me or you'd like me to look into for you?
I would like to ask if the person that I like now, his name is Damien, if he's my soulmate, and if I'm going to be with him romantically.
Okay, right. So you are already aware that there is quite a deep soul connection between the two of you, is that right? Okay.
Correct.
Let me just have a look here and see what I get with this, because I do feel that there are challenges. I'm pulling out some cards for you. Okay, I get some very, very interesting cards with this. And I'm just going to talk about what I'm getting here for you. I don't feel like this is like the most straightforward of situations. So even though you've got this really, really intense and strong connection here, I just feel like there is something kind of standing in the way, or has been standing in the way, of you two properly getting together romantically. The energy is there. I feel it's on both sides. Absolutely, it's on both sides. But I feel like there is something kind of standing in the way, or has been standing in the way. But what I get here with this, and it's very, very interesting, I get a sense of transformation around that romantic link. I feel like it's almost there. I feel like it's like you occasionally step into that energy and then it gets pulled back away from you. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. But what I get with this is it's almost like go with it, because over a period of time, what you're going to find here is that opportunity to step into that romantic zone, even if it's just looking into each other's eyes briefly. I feel like you're going to be stepping into that romantic zone more and more and more and more. What I'm being shown here with the cards is this is all about divine timing. That's what I'm being given with this. So the relationship will move into the romantic area at exactly the right moment in time. And I'm just trying to see why we've got a hold up on it. and why this hasn't happened yet, because I feel like it's so close, it's unreal. I'm just tuning into your energy. I'm tuning into the other person's energy here, and I feel like you're probably a little bit further ahead on your spiritual path, on your awareness. Does that make sense? In your awareness?
Yes, I just discovered it.
Yeah, and I feel that they seem to be, this other person seems to be a little bit further behind here. So there are shifts and there are changes that they need to make. I feel like they doubt, they analyse, they're very analytical, and they're trying to, I want to say, handle the connection that you two have in a very analytical and mental kind of way, mind kind of way, trying to rationalise it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
He's talking himself out of it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So he feels that he's got a bit of a head and heart conflict going on here. So he's feeling it. It's not that, it's all there. But he talks himself out of it. And this is what I feel is actually holding the relationship back, but only temporarily. Ultimately, I feel that he will be more and more compelled here to reach out, okay, to you, and on a romantic level. I feel like I'm being shown here a kiss. I'm being shown here that first real, proper, physical connection between the two of you really being the starting point. And I feel like, the time period that I'm being given is really any time from now right through until late May, early June. Okay? But this is something... Pardon?
Sorry, I'm going to California in the end of May.
He goes to California.
He lives in California. I live in New York City, and I'm going to California at the end of May. Okay.
Right, well, that's the time period that I'm being given for this, okay? And I feel like you've got to wait patiently here, and I feel like you have waited patiently. I feel that once it gets started, it will move forward incredibly quickly. Because I feel that the energy is going to intensify between the two of you. And I know you said you've got a soulmate connection, but I actually feel like you've got a twin flame connection.
Yes.
Okay. But, I kind of feel here, one of the sort of key indicators here with this is the fact that your energy system and your chakras completely fire up whenever you're around this person. It's such, I want to say, very life-affirming vibration and feeling here for you. But I feel that no matter what blocks are kind of standing in the way with this relationship, I feel like he's going to overcome them. And I feel like he will step into the romantic zone. And once he does that, I feel like that's where it will stay. But it's just taking its time. Okay. I hope that... Him. Pardon?
I recently confronted him not confronted him, I revealed my feelings for him, and I haven't heard from him since then. Don't worry.
I get communication here. I feel like he's a little bit... it's like a deer in the headlights. He's frightened a little bit, doesn't know how to handle it. Because I kind of feel there's something that you said where you hit the nail on the head, or you struck a chord with him, and I feel that he's I just feel here that he's a little bit frightened, he's a little bit scared, I get fear around it, but I also feel here he is going to be compelled to make that contact with you. I don't feel that it's completely missing. It's not gone. I don't feel like this is gone. This relationship and this connection. I just feel that I feel like actually you were intuitively guided to tell him how you feel. Does that make sense?
I was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
It just felt very, very right. It felt very, very right. And I feel like it's like you need to allow that to sink in here with him.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he will get back in contact. I know he's gone quiet, but he will be back in contact. I want to say here, stick with your intuition, because it hasn't been, because I feel like you've been doubting it because he's gone quiet on you.
Yes.
And I don't feel that you need to be doubting your intuition. Everything that you've kind of felt here with him has been reciprocated, you know. I don't feel that you've got this, you haven't read it wrong. Does that make sense? It's just he's restricting. He's the runner, isn't he? In a typical twin flame and soulmate scenario, he's the runner. And I just feel here that he, yeah, and I feel that,
I don't like
you know, I want to. I'm also being given 3 months around this as well. Okay, so that is where I feel you're going to have some real headway with this. Okay, I feel that he does have a very, I feel, actually bring out his better qualities. Does that make sense? He's quite an interesting person, because I feel like he has this kind of persona or mask. I don't know whether it's professional, what have you, but I feel like you kind of really get to the core of him. Does that make sense? You kind of really bring out the real him. Because I feel like quite often he hides that. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm being told, what I'm being told here is just to trust that intuition, go within, and that relationship, that communication will be on its way to you. You know, not to take this silence as bad news. You know, just to take it as breathing space while it filters in and he sits and he thinks about what you've said. Okay, so our show is nearly over, so I want to thank you for coming through.
Thank you so much. That gives me a lot of hope. Thank you.
Oh, you're more than welcome. You take care. And off she goes. So yes, I've been talking about energy and energy blockages, and we had a very, very interesting call there on twin flames and soulmates. You know, if that's something you can relate to, you know, this is an area that I do specialise in. You know, I'm known as the soulmate psychic over in the UK. And this is an area that is very, very close to my heart. I really, really resonate with it. I've been through my own soulmate issues, my own soulmate crisis, as it were. And that's kind of drawn me into the whole field and arena of the soulmate energy.